My name is Andrea Bennett. I'm the Executive Director for SETPA. Thank you. And I'm here, thank you. I'm here today to talk and inform you about the CTO Mentor Program. With the help of FCMAT, the Fiscal Crisis and Management Assistance Team, SETPA established the CTO Mentor Program to help those either already in or aspiring to be in technology leadership roles in their organization. The purpose of the program is to expose candidates to the various knowledge areas required for a technology leader in education, and to create a community of support with resources and communication to help lead to success. The program also raises the bar for potential technology leaders by requiring a level of leadership skills necessary to help drive efforts to improve teaching, learning, and educational administration through the appropriate use of technology. This is an 8-month program. We meet once a month, Friday night and all day Saturdays. This year, each student completed prerequisite work, homework, participated in class group exercises and assignments, and did assignments outside of class. They did oral reports, and they completed a full professional portfolio based on the curriculum that we delivered. What makes this program unique is, for technologists, the candidates are paired one-to-one with mentors. So there's no other program like this. We base this program on the CBO Mentor Program, which many of you have probably heard about and seen, where each of those candidates are also paired one-to-one with a mentor. And the mentors are very experienced, and the mentor guides the candidate through the curriculum and helps them establish that community of support, and helps give them constructive feedbacks in areas that they need feedback and need improvement on. The candidates are expected to communicate regularly with their mentor. They share their homework with them. They get feedback on, they talk about the curriculum, what happened in class. And if the mentor themselves don't have any information, or they need to get information, there are 20 other mentors that they can talk to. And so it really is a good community of people and a great learning experience for most people. The instructors and presenters are experienced at the state and county level, and also local levels, of course. The curriculum covers topics such as professional development, organizational management, personnel management, finance, assessment and accountability, a little bit about technology. It's not a technology program. It really is quite more broad than that. And we really concentrate on leadership skills. We think that that's the key to a lot of success. So it's a rigorous program, but it's a relevant program, and it's definitely helping to shape the future of technology leaders in our schools. All 21 candidates completed the program this year, and you'll get to see and hear from them in just a little bit. There are several groups that help make this program happen. The SETPA board, of course, for their dedication and support of the program. As I mentioned, the Fiscal Crisis and Management Assistance Team, FCMAT. They donate resources and give us a lot of support. CSESA, the California County Superintendent's Educational Services Association. The CDE, California Department of Education, supports us. State Superintendent Tom Torlakson and people in his office offer a lot of support for us. And we also actually have a connection at the FBI, and they give us a lot of resources on security, internet safety, and things like that. The program itself is managed and overseen by a steering committee, and they work so hard on this program. We cover a lot of ground. We go from everything from the hotel that we should be at to really in-depth curriculum discussions. So I'd like to thank the committee members, and if you could stand and be recognized as I call your name, and we'll hold our applause until they all stand up. So stand up and stay standing so you can be recognized. Lori Owens, Robin Canali, Dwayne Cossey, Carl Thong, Tim Gorey, Julie Judd, Dave Paulson, Terrell Tucker, Russ Braun, Nancy Sullivan, Kevin Matsuo, and Laurel Kersick. Thank you guys so much. Of course, we couldn't have a mentor program without mentors. They're kind of key to the program. So I'd like to also thank these folks, and they work hard, just as hard as the candidates in a lot of cases. They have to follow the curriculum. They have to provide feedback on almost a weekly basis. So they take time out of their jobs to do that. And so please stand up and be recognized. Bob Gosman, Bob Blackney, excuse me, Tim Landeck, Henry Danielson, Max Eisler, Mike Fury, David Goldsmith, Marco Baeza, Randy Bassett, Dwayne Cossey, Robert Gravina, Scott Knuckles, John Kroll, Lori Owens, Sean Roselle, Phil Scrivano, Scott Sexsmith, Amelia Samoas, Peter Skibitsky, Dr. Thomas Tan, and Warren Williams. Thank you, mentors. And then we have our instructors, and the instructors meet regularly throughout the year. Our curriculum is quite unique. We do change it every year. We get monthly feedback from the students. They're actually required to complete a survey and give us their comments. We take those comments, and if we can, we make the change immediately in the program, and if we can't, we talk about it for the next year. So please stand up and be recognized. Aaron Barnett, Craig Blackburn, Robin Canali, Oswaldo Galarza, Bob Gosman, Matthew Kinsey, Eric Heinrich, Laurel Kursick, Sarah McFarland, Lori Owens, Dave Paulson, Peter Skibitsky, Nancy Sullivan, and Steve Thornton. So you saw in some of those groups, you heard the same name over and over. That's the amount of dedication that I get for this program. It's really, truly appreciated. I'd like to have the candidates make their way to the stage as I do this next part of the program. Each year, we ask the instructors to provide us with two names of people who they think were stellar students. And it may be as a result of the person who they were when they came in the program and the person they became. It may be based on the hard work that they did during the program and the contributions that they made to the program. But we do ask them to vote for, hurry up. I'm like stalling here. Okay. Very good. The two students that the instructors voted on for this year were Roland Kornblau and Chris Linville. And now I'm going to introduce Chris. The class wanted to do something a little bit different for their commencement, and so Chris is going to take over for just a few minutes. Oh, and I need some board members on the stage as well.
Yes. Thank you, Andrea. So we have a little fun game we want to try today. They asked us to come up and maybe talk for a couple minutes, and Bert Lowe. Bert, are you in here? You're here for my emergency, I know that much. Bert was amazing. I guess this was something that Bert wanted to do last year, and they weren't able to work it out. And Bert helped with this. I felt like at the very end, I'm like, I can type in those questions, and he was just doing it all. So it's an amazing job, and really, because of Bert, we're able to do this. This is based off of Promethean active expressions. Can you guys have the clickers in your hands? You can show them. We're not advertising for them. I personally was like, oh, I know Quizdom, so we decided to go with Promethean because we had those clickers. So we're going to have a fun game of Are You Smarter Than a CTO Mentor? Now, I got a couple redneck jokes, but I was told not to tell them, so no honey boo-boo, none of that type of stuff. All right, so what we're going to do is the way the Promethean clickers work, it's just going to be multiple guess, and it's A, B, C, D, and then I'm hoping a lot of you will get it right, and then we'll just go with the fastest speed, all right? We have about 10 questions, which means, where's my group one? If you could step forward. So it's going to be group one. Right now, the 4 clickers, and the clickers, you'll know it's our side because it's got the V on it, which is Victor's. We were actually, I know that sounds like we're the winners, which we are. We're all winners. But the VI stands for the number 6, Roman numeral 6, and we were the 6th cohort. So we went with VI CTO and threw in the RS at the end. So, and then we have our CTOs, which will be the C, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So let's go ahead and try this out. So we've got some different categories. And to be fair, that it was amazing how concerned people got, whether it was in our own group or the people coming up. It's like, well, I don't want to get on stage and not know the answer. You know, are they all going to know the answer? Are they going to? So I'm going to let you guys choose every category. That way, you don't know what group you're going up against, because every one of them put in one question, so you don't know what you don't know what the question is. So you guys get to choose the category.
Bob. Let's go.
Bob. Where is Bob? Bob, this is out to you, right here.
It can't be explained.
All right, so the question is, Bob Gosman refers to his class as arduous, dynamic, sexy, or homely. 10 seconds left on the clickers. Oh, 100%. Call it sexy. And if we view it by time, we've got the CTOs getting in there with 4.4 seconds. Congratulations, CTO. You get awarded, you get awarded 1,000 points. All right, next up, group 2.
Can we poll the audience?
Sorry, yes, you may. You may. Yeah, you know, I was trying to figure out how we could actually make this like the show, but it was going to be pretty hard to do that. So I don't even understand the show. I'm not smarter than a 5th grader to understand the show. All right, next up, what do you guys want?
Leadership.
Leadership. Leadership. All right. Which is not part of the speed of trust. If you are not fast, you are dead. If trust is down, speed is down, cost is up. If trust is up, speed is up, cost is down. Or trust, but verify. 5 seconds left. You can see that we're CTO 3, whoever you are, no clue. 1 or more users, doesn't even want to answer. That's fine. Are we going to allow them to retry? No. All right, so the correct answer was A, which is if you are not fast, you are dead. That's not true. And it looks to me like we got CTO 4. Wow, look at that. Apparently, I could have just showed slide number 1, and the answer would have been no, we are not, or yes, we are smarter than CTO mentor. Come on, you guys. This is bad. This is bad. All right, next question. I keep going there. I'm supposed to click on the apple, go back home, and let you guys choose your category. What's next?
Practice.
Practice. All right, we'll go with practice. The current president-elect of SEPA is Todd, Stephen, Brianne, or Greg? All right. Oh, someone didn't know. I hope it's not in this group. I'm guessing it is. All right. So we had the fastest response was 2.7. We got one over here. We got one. You get 3,000 points because Todd didn't even answer that faster than you. Are you the one that's not getting a good? We did that on purpose. Sorry. Where's Bert? All right, next up. Go ahead. Theory. Andragogy is the theory of how children learn, how adults learn, how to design a classroom, or how the flux capacitor operates. Back to the Future reference. And CTO3, which is going to be Todd, can't answer. So we need to reconnect you somehow. All right. Oh, someone put A. The actual answer is how adults learn. And that would go to Vic 1.7 seconds. Presentation. An elevator speech is the request for a specific floor, 15 minutes of what you did over the weekend, a short summary to provide others with information, an opportunity to mention that you are running for office. So an elevator speech is, we were told, if you're ever confronted in the hallway by your superintendent, you better have an elevator speech to explain what you're doing. All right, we all got it right. And it looks like 2.5 seconds going to CTO 4. Just so you know your numbers, if you look at the back, there's numbers on there. All right. All right. What do you guys want next? Pick this last. That means we're done. All right.
You want network security or do you want?
Network security. I like that one.
You just tell us when we run out of stuff.
I will. What is Nessus? A newly released Android tablet, an upcoming Toyota hybrid, a new brand of toe shoe. Oh, it's supposed to be toe shoe. That's Bert. Or a valuable security scanning tool. And the answer is it's a valuable security scanning tool that we were told to run on our network without telling our network specialists. Don't say anything about that. And we got a winner going to 1.1 seconds to a VIC. Excellent. The score is 3-12, I guess. All right, we got another one? Policy. 508 compliance refers to COBIT regulations, budget restrictions issued by a county, website accessibility for people with disabilities, or retention policies determined by the federal government. Ooh, 100% got it right, but I don't know if everyone answered. Let's take a look. It's actually accessibilities for disabilities, and we have 2.4 CTO 1. Congratulations! Oh, look at that, 1 and 4. Congratulations! All right.
Is there just one of each?
There's one of each.
You know, it's not fair because they already got to practice with their. So there's only one of each, so there's no more for presentation.
I pressed one.
And yeah, I'm sorry it's not graying out.
How about management?
We'll do management, and then we'll do one more after that. What are the guidelines? Sorry, let me move this out of the way. I can't. What are the guidelines commonly used for employee evaluations? Thank you. Risky, frisk, fresh, or fired? Coming from the classroom, it was never D. All right. And we have right there, CTO 1 at 1.5 seconds. All right. Last question. Last question. Pick this last. That's the last question. Which of the following is not a responsibility of a CTO? Writing policies. This is Bert. Writing policies and procedures. Planning for technology initiatives. Training teachers and staff. Or dancing Gangnam Style. Are we ready to dance Gangnam Style?
Oppan Gangnam Style. Hello. All right. So 30 seconds to tell you about the program. We loved this program, absolutely. And we learned as much from each other and from the cohort as we did from the instructors. Instructors were wonderful. We got to learn a lot about the different environments we could be in. We have LA Unified. We have tiny districts. We have rich districts. We have poor districts. And it was great to figure out how each of us was handling everything in the program and handling all of our own personal situations in each district. And so we just learned a ton from each other. So I would highly recommend the program. I think we all would. We had a great time in it. We had a great time getting to know each other. And we see this, the networking being just as valuable as everything else we did. So we wanted to say a big thanks to Andrea and to everybody else that was involved, because we know you gave so much of your time, which was amazing for us. So we thank you. Also, just the fact that the program is the low cost that it is. We all thank for that as well, because this kind of program, being 8 months, could cost a lot more than it does. And we appreciate that the SETPA board and everybody else involved was able to keep that price down. So we appreciate that. We appreciate all the work that went into it. So on behalf of the entire class, we just want to thank SETPA and everything you guys do for us. So.
That was Jeremy Davis. I don't think he said his name, but that was Jeremy. And so now we're going to actually present them with their certificates. So bear with me as I butcher their names. Asim Babovich.
Awesome.
Jason Buchanan. Michael Chatham. Ozzy Cortez. Jeremy Davis. Mary Deegan. Dawn Marie Kale. Roland Kornblau. William Edward Klopping. Jackie Lung. My stickies got stuck. Chris Linville. David Lopez. Hamilton McDermott. Eddie O. Beth Ann Scantlebury. Casey Seagraves. Randy Singh. Scott Sorrells. Colleen Steed. Eric Steelman. And Tracy Thies. Congratulations, you guys. That's great. Thank you guys for doing that. If you want to know more about the program, I do have a session on Friday at one time. 8 o'clock, I think, probably. So come on by. I'll be able to answer your questions. Hopefully some of these guys will be there too, and you can get, really true answers about the program. Thank you, guys. You can.
Andrea, we just wanted to give you a little token of appreciation for putting up with all of our whining and crying at all hours of the night, for putting up with Awesome's shoes throughout the year.
You just have to go there.
So, sorry. We were reluctant to give it to you until after we get our actual certificates,
right.
but we feel confident at this point. Thank you so much.
Should I open it?
It's very nice. It's a travel bag, but there's something inside the bag. Something that you shouldn't go anywhere without having. Yep, that's one of them.
Oh,
There's nothing else in there.
There's something else in there.
There's plenty more in the bag.
what?
The other
In the
bag.
big bag.
The big bag.
Do I have to read the card first? Oh my gosh. You can read that. Ooh,
It's a Nexus 7.
it's a Nexus 7.
The rest is accessories.
And
You can
it's
afford an iPad.
And that all your accessories.
oh, okay, okay.
We wanted
Thank you very much. Thank you guys. You were a great class. I'm looking forward to next year. It's also going to be held in Ontario this year, and then we're going to switch from Northern California to Southern California as the conference goes from Northern California to Southern California. Okay? So now I'd like to reintroduce your president, right? Todd Fennell.
Was that a question? It sounded like a question.
For another day, anyway.
So, forgive me while I cut over the laptop here, but a reminder that I think, do we need to announce about the Ferrante spillover?
Yeah, you know, this is being broadcast over in the Ferrante, just across the hall, so those of you sitting on the steps who would like to sit on a real chair.
Good morning. So, you know, we always dread that opportunity where you have to speak right before lunch. Well, I have, you know, the honor of actually speaking after some dancing, and then right before an exciting keynote. And some of you can probably hear the guitar kind of tuning up somewhere, right? Is that what we're hearing? Okay. Well, it's going to be a phenomenal keynote. So we're just going to talk very briefly a little bit about your organization, because this is your organization, SETPA. And we're maturing. And so, so that probably represents a lot of things to a lot of people. But for us, the reason I put it up there is that, you know, change is happening. Sometimes you are sitting back, you know, watching, hoping that the change, you know, maybe that dish magically fills up with a steak dinner or something. Sometimes we mature and we change a little too quickly, and there's, you know, consequences for that. And then sometimes we're just oblivious to the change, right? It's changing all around us. We look around and, whoa, what happened? Well, hopefully that's not happening to your organization. We did a lot. This year really was focused on doing a lot of strategic planning and planning for the future. And so one of the things we did was we revisited mission, vision, strategic plans, goals, objectives, all of that good stuff, all the fun stuff that we all do in our organizations back home, right? But it's real important that we all understand as an organization that this is our vision, shaping the future of education through technology. By the way, how many of you were out late last night? Yeah. Hands are going up like... So strategic planning, our core values, and so this is important to share with you all, of course, because this is a member organization. You are the organization. Values: fulfill a commitment to professional development growth, encourage and facilitate collaboration and sharing of resources, and advocate the strategic value of technology in education. So the goals and initiatives, you know, we have 4 primary goals. And this year we're trying to be very deliberate and strategic about making sure that everything we're doing as an organization lines up to these goals. So professional capacity. SETPA will develop the professional capacity of its members. And you'll see this evidenced in some of the initiatives, one of which you just saw. And, you know, hey, if we can develop them to dance like that, you know, we can do just about anything, right? So the CTO Mentor Program, online course subscriptions, and professional development events, which I'll talk about in a moment. Goal B, recognized authority. Ooh, that sounds big. SETPA will be a recognized resource and authority in instructional and administrative technologies. Some of the initiatives that are helping us to be that: on the line, SBAC Common Core, advocacy and strategic partnerships. Goal C, member experience. Ooh. How's everybody enjoying their experience so far? Yeah, come on. It's going to get better tonight, right? SETPA's network of professionals, that's you, will be strong, and the membership experience will be engaging, rewarding, and invaluable. Pretty good, right? All right. So you need to hold us accountable. Your board works for you. So, you know, if we're not giving you that experience, then let us know, because we're here to serve. So keep us honest. Initiatives, regional groups, online data bus, printed data bus, and listserv. And lastly, organizational capacity. SETPA will be organizationally and financially strong and be able to seize opportunities to create value for our members and institutions. So some of the initiatives we focused on here: financial process stability. A lot of work was put. That's not real glamorous, but it's really important for the ongoing viability of the organization. CAMSA, Nimbus, CAP sponsorships, and membership, of course. So one thing we did strategically this year, this is where Andrea goes, oh, shoot. One thing we did strategically is we brought on our first full-time employee to the organization. And so we have, and it's my pleasure to announce to you all, Andrea Bennett as our full-time professional executive director for this organization. Stand up. And you might say, oh, well, I thought she was executive director already. Well, and yes, she has. But this allowed us to actually sort of revisit and deliberately look at what does it mean to be executive director and where are we headed as an organization. And where you'll see some of the changes evidenced is, we were just talking yesterday, and this was the first time Andrea was able to attend a keynote yesterday and not worry about what's happening back at the registration desk. So you think about that, it sounds simple, but trying to move from really being operationally minded and worrying about registration and all of those kinds of things to really looking at strategically, how do we put forth the goals and how do we enact those goals as an organization. So you'll see some staff out there now. So we're really trying to look at how do we operationalize some of these practices and get focused on the important stuff. So congratulations, Andrea. CAMSA, how many of you are participating in CAMSA? Okay, a lot of hands, good, good. So I'm just going to highlight a few things that I think are strategic to the organization. So anybody, if you didn't know what it meant, SETPA and Microsoft Strategic Alliance. 73 districts have enrolled this year, representing over 110,000 FTE. Oops. Do we have any other numbers to share, Steve? 5. 5. Steve says 5. So we were hoping to have some testimonials for you, but we couldn't gather those just yet. But what we can tell you is we know that this is saving districts a lot of money. And some of you probably could shout out, you know, how, well, anybody out there using CAMSA and have calculated the savings to your district? Shout it out. 60, 40, 30. So now think about it. Those are all dollars that now can go back to other priorities. And, you know, let's face it, you know, licensing is great, you need it, but those dollars could be used, if you can free up licensing dollars, they can go to services for your school district. So, regional group, Steve Thornton has done a masterful job along with others to pull together, yes! We have a blackout. Top button. Bottom button. Bottom button. All right, top, bottom, side. Yeah, we got it. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to try that again. Look at that. Now I did it deliberately. All right. Got it. I'm trained. So, why are these regional groups so important? Well, to us strategically as a board, when we looked at how do we strengthen the organization across California, we know you can only do so much at a conference and some of these statewide events. Where it really will matter is where it hits the road, the local grassroots efforts, and getting folks, all of you out in your districts, actually working and collaborating across districts is where we want to see the activity. And so the regional groups were really a large part of that strategy. I don't know that any of us realized how quickly it would catch on and how successful it would be, but it has been. And so if you are an officer or a founder of any of these regional groups, could you stand, please? That is awesome. So on behalf of the board, we want to thank you, because it's because of folks like you out in the field taking the initiative to step up and say, you know what, SEPA is important to us, it helps us, we're going to pull together and help spread the word. Databus Online, I'm going to go quickly here because I'm standing in front of a fantastic keynote, but started March 19th. We're really trying to adopt some of the more effective ways to reach out with content. CTO Summer Clinic. How many of you attended the clinic? Raise your hand. Wow, okay, only a handful. Okay. Well, thank you. Thanks, board members. July 17th, a one-day event focused entirely on online blended learning. And I guess I'm reflecting very quickly here. That's not a bad thing, right? That means that whoever's not in this room attended. And we reached out. We got SEPA out there, and we started having conversations about online and blended learning with other folks. 150 attendees, including technologists and district leadership, nearly 30 sessions. And so watch for information coming soon, I believe, right? On Summer Clinic 2013. What's that? Twitter, Facebook. Peter, where are you? Peter Skibitsky. And the number is? 364. He's been bugging me for months to try to follow it, and I will. I'll be 365, I promise. Again, just trying to reach out to our membership, try to incorporate everything we do as a community. And I guess maybe one common thread you'll see in a lot of our planning is to try to make sure that we constantly are trying to build and rebuild community across our organization. We have some special recognitions today. So Russ Braun, Sandy Ching, and Daryl Legase. So is Russ here? No, Russ is, he's on a honeymoon, isn't he? Okay, well, if you haven't heard, Russ has retired from CSIS, or is retiring from FCMAT CSIS. So long-standing board member and participant with SEPA. I want to have a shout out for him. So give him a round of applause, please. And Sandy, why don't you stand, please? Sandy is retiring from the board. Thank you so much for your service. And Daryl, is Daryl here? Not anybody see Daryl? Saw him last night at the Mucky Duck. Where was he? All right. Well, if you haven't heard, Daryl, another board member that served this organization faithfully for a number of years, provided exceptional leadership in a lot of areas, has left K-12 and has moved over to Lightspeed Systems. And from what I understand, is even going abroad, right? Yes. So let's give him a round of applause, please. And I think coming up on the end here, and then I'm going to hand it off to Steve to introduce our keynote, are board member candidates. So we have one seat available for the board. Voting is still active. We really need you to get out there and vote. So Andrea is going to be sending a message this afternoon to remind you. So please vote. We have these folks, Phil, Rick, Robert, Andrew, Ann, and Dan, that are running for the board. If you have not had an opportunity to meet them, please do. Find out more about them. Their bios are online, but please get out and vote. We need your voice heard.
You want us to vote often?
Only you, Terry. And last for me, I want to really encourage you, if you don't have plans tonight, please make plans tonight to come to the President's Reception. It starts at 6 o'clock tonight. Again, backyard barbecue is the theme. We'll have an awesome band coming in this afternoon. And also the SETPA's Got Real Talent is happening tonight. So if you have not signed up, please go down and just fill out a form. If you don't do that, we'll still try to encourage you to get up and act. Now, I know that there was a Friday Funny that went out last week. So I know we have some talent out there, right? Some dancers and stuff. So please have a good time. Again, this is your opportunity to come together, network amongst yourselves, but also with our exhibitor and vendor community. So it should be a lot of fun. And with that, I'm going to introduce Steve, who will introduce our dynamic keynote for this afternoon. Thank you.
Push. There we go. First of all, in keeping with this theme that Todd has brought up about SETPA's Got Talent, I have the unique pleasure today of introducing our keynote. And you talk about talent. If this does not inspire you, I don't think anyone will. But we have the pleasure today of hearing and experiencing Mr. Mike Rayburn. Mike is one of the youngest inductees ever into the Speaker Hall of Fame. He has headlined on the Strip in Las Vegas, and he's received standing ovations at all 8 of his command performances at Carnegie Hall. You're in for a treat, I just want to let you know. I'd like to please welcome Mike Rayburn.
Awesome. Thank you. Awesome, thank you. I did that because I can, actually. My people, yes. No. Cool. No, I did that because the guitar is the best way that I have to illustrate something I am passionate about, and it's why I'm here. I believe that we are each capable of far more than we ever knew was possible. I believe that we're each literally a gold mine of unrealized potential. And I think that we are surrounded every moment of the day by opportunities to access that potential. Opportunities that we keep missing. Opportunities to step beyond what's been done before. To rethink, to redesign, reshape, right? To look at old things in a new way. For me, to try to play the guitar a little differently than it's been played for the last 500 years. Okay, so would you basically agree with that? Yes. My people, good. So the question becomes, how do we access that potential? And let's take a moment here and acknowledge the elephant in the room. You've got to wonder at this point, what in the world are we going to learn about education and technology from Kumbaya Boy? And it's a fair question. And if you're looking for specifics, probably not that much. But it's not about the specifics. The fact is, because we're all human beings, the principles behind what it takes for each of us to be able to access that potential, to be able to do more than we can even see right now, the principles are the exact same, no matter what the career, no matter what the industry, no matter what the endeavor. So what I want to do with you today is I'm going to share with you 3 simple tools that you could use immediately and forever to be able to access that potential. I'm going to go through them one at a time. I'm going to illustrate them, which is the fun part. And then at the end, I'm going to attempt to prove that they work by doing something I thought was absolutely, completely impossible to do on one acoustic guitar. Cool? Good? Okay. So, and as long as we're trying to get beyond, talking about getting beyond our limitations, looking at the old things in a new way and trying to do more with what we have, let's take a moment right now and list all of our major limitations. I mean, obviously, we'd all be doing it if there wasn't something holding us back. So let's list our major limitations in life. I'm done. Seriously, we have one, and what is it? Ourselves. Absolutely. It drives me crazy. And this is why I do this program. This is what inspired me in the first place, is I see this all the time. We as human beings negotiate away half of our opportunities at the front end of most endeavors because we, for some reason, we tend to go into them aiming at the middle. It's like we feel like we deserve better than the worst, but we certainly don't deserve the best. So we go in aiming at mediocrity. And we hit it, okay? And I don't want that. And I know our students don't want that. And the people that we work with and our colleagues don't want that. So let's jump into this. To change anything, the first thing that has to change is our brains, the way we think. The thinking that got you sitting where you are right now won't get you any further. The most basic human brain function, cognitive function, is to ask questions. I don't know if you realize that. Thinking is questioning. Our brains ask and answer questions for themselves. And give an example. You're driving. Is the light turning red or green? Which way do I go? Should I turn left or right? What did she say? What did she mean by what she said? That's a guy question. Okay. We ask it a lot. Okay. So try this. Right away, with that information, start to pay attention to the questions that your brain asks as you walk through this day. Because this is really the self-talk that's going on inside of us. It's not statements. It's questions and answers. We ask and answer a question in our brain, and it does nothing less than define the quality of our lives. The types of questions that we ask naturally open up possibilities or squelch them. And I said naturally, it's not natural. It may be old and ingrained, but it's not natural. The questions that we come up with are shaped by our families, the environments that we grew up in, the experiences that we've had, good and bad, okay? And so when we ask positive, open-ended questions that open up the possibilities, we get those kind of answers. And when we don't, we don't. So the idea is to reprogram ourselves so that we become possibility thinkers. And the way we do that is with questions. And the most basic question, I've got to share this with you. This is the tool. This is what changed it for me. It's one simple question. You've absolutely heard this before. I know that. I'm going to invite you to revisit it with me. And the question is this: what if? What if? When you ask the question, what if, in a positive way, you open up the possibilities. What if we could do that? What would it look like? All the time you get people saying, the naysayers, and we all know them. We work with them, some of them. They feel, oh, that's nuts. The Eeyores, oh, I don't know why you're trying that. Oh, isn't that glum? We'll never make it. I can't, that's nuts to try. I like to silence them. I like to say, and it's conditional surrender. It's surrendering, but it's not giving up, okay? And that's to say, you're right, we can't. But what if we could? I know we can't do that. I know it's nuts. But what if it wasn't? How would it happen? Let's just have some fun with that for a second. There's 2 powers behind the question for what if. Number 1, it doesn't mean you're going to do it. That's the power. The lack of commitment is the power there. Counterintuitively, the lack of commitment. Why? Well, if there's no commitment, there's no consequence. What does that mean? Absolutely anything is possible at that point. That's what we're looking for. To start there, start with what if we could? Start with that open, the endless possibility. That's number 1. And number 2, the power behind the question is when you ask the question, what if, in a positive way, because questions define the way we think, you've reprogrammed your thinking on a foundational level that you are now walking through life no longer looking for reasons you can't. You're looking for reasons you can as a default. If you take and extrapolate and project this point, it's huge. Now, I practice this in my life daily. My team gets tired of it sometimes, but then they throw it back at me sometimes. I learned this by playing for drunk people. We've all got a challenge, and I would not be authentic if I was not speaking from personal experience. Use this as a metaphor. I had this dream of I wanted to play guitar for people, and I started in clubs and bars. And when you got something you want to do, I mean, you know, you memorize, you prepare, you're enthusiastic, you go in there expecting great results, and that's what happened for me. And I went there ready to go. This is my career. This is it. I love it. And right away, I got people yelling out stupid requests under the alkafluence of alcohol. Which is an old joke, but thank you. And I didn't know what to do with that. I don't even know the song. I don't like the song. And I started to look bad. You know, we've all seen somebody on stage when they're not doing very well, and your skin kind of crawls for them, and you wish they would get it right, and you just pull. That was me. Every time I got one of these requests that I didn't know, or that I thought was nuts, or I didn't know what to do with. And I was looking bad, and something cool happened at that point. And it's actually wise. I didn't know it at the time. I got fed up. I got tired of looking bad, okay? I just, no, this can't happen anymore, okay? And it's wise. If the status quo is not working, get fed up. It's what causes things to change, right? So I got another one of these bad requests and another chance to look really bad. And what I found out with this one little question is that every chance to look bad is actually a chance to look really, really good. We just have to be the engine that changes that and sees that as the possibility. So I got this request. I don't remember what it was, but I just went to myself, I can't do that. And I thought, it popped into my head, thank you, I have no idea why. What if I could? And it didn't mean I went and learned the song. It meant I came up with a funny or a fun or a different way to deal with what I did know of that or what they were saying. I just did something. And they laughed. And I liked that. And so then I got another one, and I tried it again, and it started to work. And this silly little question turned all those problems into this thing that shaped my career. And so we're going to have some fun with this. These are songs you've heard before, but not the way I'm going to do them. And I listen to everything. So we're going to go all over the spectrum musically. I actually got requests for what they call the boy bands. Some of you remember, like, I want to stand with you on a mountain. I want to bathe with you in the sea. I want to lay like this forever until the sky falls down on me. Yeah, yeah. No, don't clap. Thank you, but if you clap for that, I will lose respect at some point. So what if I could, right? What if? This is what we're playing. Here's the cool thing. When you ask and answer the question, you're coming up with a solution that is uniquely yours. It is a product of your abilities and experiences. I'm going to talk about the power of that in just a second. Here's how I heard that song. Oh yeah, boy bands, you have to have choreography. I was your dream, I was your wish, I was your fantasy. I was your life, I was everything you want me to be. But you were mean and you were bad and then you lied to me. You were the worst, you did it all, you even cheated on me. I wanna throw you off of a mountain. I wanna hold you under the sea. I wanna lay you to rest forever till the police come looking for me. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, my people, yes. If you enjoyed that, we are going to have a blast today. Check this out. I used that question to write a Christmas song for my friend Philippe upon hearing the results of his paternity test. Yeah, where's this going? Right, yeah. Philippe's not a dad. Philippe's not a dad. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. But you'll sing that for 2 weeks. It will get stuck. It just does. And you'll think of me at Christmas. Now, if I had to say that there's one common denominator with every organization I get the opportunity to present for, it's this. And we talked about this when we were preparing for this program. We're trying to manage change, right? We're trying to manage change. Change in the economy, change in budgets, change in technology, change everywhere. Peter Drucker said it better than I ever could. He said, managing change is not only stupid, it's dangerous. The only way to manage change is to create change, is to step out and define the curve rather than follow it, right? Okay? And you guys are in a uniquely qualified position to be able to do that, right? So, and I would offer this, when you ask the question, what if we could do that? What would it look like? Either individually, as a small team, or as an entire organization. You're coming up with solutions that are uniquely yours. They're a product of your abilities and experiences, or the abilities and experiences of your team. No one else would have come up with them, or no one else would have applied them in the same way. When we then have the courage to act on the solutions we've generated, we're now stepping forward and doing something no one else would have come up with. I've always heard, we hear this, there's strength in diversity. Our strength is our diversity. And that's a pretty thought, but I'm a pragmatist. I'm like, okay, how? How is there strength in diversity? This is it. It's the unique combination of abilities and experiences that no one else would have. Because of that diversity, when we act on that, when we use that as the generation for ideas and ways to change things, we're now doing something no one else would have done. Again, if you project this point, it's huge. Now, the first time I really started to deal with change in my life, I grew up in Virginia and Tennessee. I grew up playing blues and rock more than anything. After college, I moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and the requests changed. And oh yeah, and when people request country, it's not, could you play some country? It's country, come on! Okay, and they're packing. You got to do it. And I didn't know what to do with that. And I thought, what if? Not even know if I get an answer, man. What if I could? And this wild idea hit me. And again, sometimes those little stopgap measures that we come up with just in the spur of the moment because we got to get something done or we got to get through something. There's sometimes the seeds of something pretty cool in that quick answer. So it's good to pay attention to it. I got this idea just to get through that night. I just started taking the songs that I do know, and I played them country. And it's a whole new genre. The first one that came out is Tom Petty. She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus. In America too, she's a good girl. She's crazy about Elvis, loves horses, and her boyfriend too. Now I'm free falling. Yes, I'm free falling. Yes, I'm free. It worked. 20 years later, still doing it. And that's the idea, to make this a habit, so that we walk through life as a possibility thinker. And we already know those people. There's already people who do that. They're the ones that we turn to for solutions, people that we know are going to have a fresh perspective. And it's, all of us are capable of that. And in fact, I keep doing it. It's a habit now. I can do any song country. Any song, I'll prove it. Who let the dogs out? Who let them dogs out? That's a country song right there. Any type of music too. They keep trying to catch me riding dirty. Trying to catch me riding dirty. We got about 12 hip hop fans, okay? More recognizable hip hop. It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. It's getting hot. Anyone over 30? That was Nelly. Me too. Current songs. Lady Gaga. She's country. Let's have some fun. This beat is sick. I want to take a ride on your disco stick. Don't think too much, just bust that kick. I want to take a ride on your disco stick. It works, man. Did you notice that was a Beverly Hillbillies theme? Beverly Hillbillies hip hop. It makes sense, right? Apple bottom jeans and the boots with the fur. The whole club was looking at her. She hit the floor. They say, you know, try to get low, 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 low. It works, any of them. Thank you. That's the first time I've ever done that one. It just popped in the head. Seriously, that's the first time I ever did it. Now, the common denominator with organizations is change. And the idea I would love for you to take from this is that we are no longer going to manage change. We're going to create change. It's a mindset. Number one. The common denominator that I experience with individuals is that we have a time poverty. And if you've not figured this out already, I'm just going to share it with you. From this day forward, you're going to have more to do every day than is humanly possible. Okay? That's the way it is. we might as well get used to it and figure out how to deal with it, right? How to use it to our advantage. Because the fact is, there's not enough time to do it all. We work hard, we play hard, and the challenge is if we can't do it all, how do we choose what to do and what not to do? So we don't, as they say, major in minor things. Because while there's not enough time to do it all, I would say this: I firmly believe that there is absolutely enough time to do the most important things. And that's what we each have to choose. And I found the question, what if, helps me sort of focus on what's important, find that in the fray. I would play in clubs and people would drink too much and they'd yell all these requests. And I had to, they would yell all these requests at the same time, and I had a cutoff time, and I had to fit them all in before the end of the night, and it was physically impossible to do all those songs, okay? And you get the same thing, do you not? So many requests of your time thrown at you at the same time, you've got a cutoff time and you can't fit them all in. And I thought, but what if I could? What if I could do this? And I'm not saying you should apply it necessarily in the same way, but here's what I did. I put them together. I would choose two of the requests, two of the artists they were yelling. I'd do an imitation of that one, singing that one's hit song, knock off 2 songs in 1 shot. Things like, this is Bob Marley, king of reggae, right? Sings Garth Brooks. I got good friends in low places where whiskey drowns and beer chases my blues away. We jump up. You got it, it works. What if? What if? And we'll do these all day. I can't keep. I keep. In fact, let's try. You remember this song? Green Acres is the place to be. Some of you know this. Farm living is the life for me. Good. I just wondered. But some of you are like, he's doing it. Get in the trailer. Let's go. It ain't home till you take the wheels off. That's funny. I'm going to write that down. No, what if? Let's have some fun with this. This is Bruce Springsteen. Sings Green Acres. Oh, let's do this right. Place to be, farm living is a life for me. When it's spreading out so far and wide, keep that hanging me the other side. New York is where I'd rather stay, getting so allergic, smelling hay. Oh, darling, I love you, but give me part of a my people. Thank you. Now, I wouldn't keep teaching this if it didn't keep working. I get emails from attendees a lot of times, and people say, man, you know, I heard that, and a few months later I had this challenge, I didn't think I could do it, and I tried it, and it's not me, it's just, I'm just sharing something that we can all do. And sometimes it's been heavy issues, things people are dealing with. And so let me try some new ones. I keep using this, it keeps working. I've got kids, and they have turned me into fans of their books. And I am now a big Dr. Seuss fan. And I thought, well, what if I could fit Dr. Seuss into a keynote presentation? And there's a way to do it. And the way to do it is, what if it was performed by Led Zeppelin? Like them, Sam, I am. Would not, could not, it ain't could not with a fox. Green eggs, Sam, I am. Yeah, what if? Thank you. Now, the important thing to me is also that we use this not just individually, obviously it just starts there, but as a team, as a small team, as an entire organization, where we start with the question. And in fact, I've done this presentation, and I know of boards of directors or people who are in leadership positions who start their meetings now saying, when they're trying to generate new ideas and come up with solutions, by saying, well, what if? What if we could do that? What would it look like? And I learned about this with my daughter. My daughter is 11. I have a son, Zachary, who's 8 years old, and then my daughter is Seneca. She's 11. And Seneca and I are messing around, and we're talking back and forth, and I want her to be a possibility thinker at the front end, because I didn't get that. I got a family that kind of put me in these little boxes, and I had to dig out, right? Well, so we're going back and forth, and we started talking about, again, and we try to relate to her to open that door a little. She's a huge Taylor Swift fan. And now I am, okay? And I love her. I think Taylor Swift is fantastic, talented, amazing artist. And so we're talking about her biggest hit song, which is called You Belong With Me. And if you don't know the song, I'll tell you, set it up. In the song, Taylor's the girl next door. She's got this thing for the cool guy in high school, but he's got the snooty cheerleader girlfriend, right? And it's a sort of a comparison, a play between the two girls. So Seneca and I are talking, she knows what I do. And so I said, well, what if, Seneca, what if we could do something with this? What would it be? What if? And we're playing, and we thought, together we came up with this idea. What if we rewrite this song from the male perspective? Sung by a male, representing a segment of male society in a high school, which I feel has been grossly underrepresented thus far in song. It goes like this. You're on the phone with your boyfriend, he's upset, he's going off about the homework he doesn't get. He'll never know mathematics like I do. I'm at the library studying for a test. He's been out hitting mailboxes with a bat. He'll never know quantum physics like I do. But he wears muscle shirts, I wear bow ties. He's good looking and I forgot to zip my fly. I'm dreaming of the day that you wake up and find that what you really want is a superior mind. If you could see that I'm the best at Nintendo home monitor, then why can't you see? You need a nerd like me. You need a nerd like me. Walking with you through the halls of the Science Museum, talking all about Pythagorean theorem, looking at my comic books, thinking to myself, I bet she likes Star Trek, and you've got a brain that would make Albert Einstein proud. You use words that your boyfriend can't pronounce. The only thing you have in common with him is that you're both way into him, cause he plays football, I'm in the chess club, he's team captain, and I collect rare bugs, I've only got brains. He's got the brawn, but in 10 years he'll be mowing my lawn. If you could see that I'm best at Nintendo home monitor, then why can't you see? You need a nerd like me. If you could see that I play Dungeons and Dragons, got a scholarship to MIT, he'll get a GED. He'll get a GED. It works. What if? What if? Now, we're having fun with these requests, but I'm telling you the truth. When I got them, they were not funny. They scared me to death. And here, just for the moment, just for this a minute here, I want you to think about whatever it is that scares you. I mean, really, that scares you, that you dread, that you avoid, that you don't like, either about work or your life or whatever. That's what these were for me. And what we're doing today, simply by asking the question, what if? There's three things, and you'll find with each of the tools I share with you, there's three little subpoints, and this is the fun part. Number one, we're taking a huge problem, and we're having fun with it. We're turning around, we're making fun of it, we're poking fun of it. By using the question, what if, we're poking fun at the problem. And I say that, make fun of the problem. Because that's not what we do with problems. If you have noticed in our society, in our workplaces, we deify them. We take the problem, we set it on a pedestal, and we worship it, and it drives me crazy. We over-focus on the problem. The problem, have you heard about the problem? There's a problem, there's a meeting, but there's a memo about the problem, and then a meeting about the problem, and then a meeting about the memo about the problem, okay? You've never experienced that, of course, but... And I'm not saying to diminish the importance of solving the problem. To the contrary, this is the way to solve problems. It is impossible to make fun of something without standing outside of it, psychologically. When we make fun of something, in fact, the very act of making fun of something causes us to stand outside of it. When we stand outside of it, we gain a new and better perspective, and I'll guarantee you a better solution every time because of that perspective. It's a cool thing. That's number one. Number two, so we lighten it up. We have some fun with it. We were talking about this. We're having some fun here. Number two, we're taking a huge problem, and we're not looking at it as a problem. We're looking at it as an opportunity. What if your biggest challenge right now was actually good? There was something in it that was there for you? I know there's not, but what if there was? Okay? What if there was something good, something that could move you in the right direction? What would it be? Okay? And these requests that I'm talking about here that scared me, that I dreaded every time I got to starting to play, ended up shaping everything I do. They brought out abilities I didn't know I had in comedy and in performance. And now I don't know what I'd do without them, okay? And let's be honest, though, every speaker in the world is going to get up here and tell you, problem equals opportunity, you know? Little magnets on the refrigerator, there's no such thing as a problem without a gift for unit solving. Which is beautiful. But again, I'm a pragmatist. I'm like, okay, that's a nice thought, but how does it happen? How does problem become opportunity? It's you, and it's me. When we change, the problem usually doesn't change. What changes is the way we approach it. We open ourselves up, and that problem is sent here to pull things out of us we didn't know we had. Again, accessing that unrealized potential. And finally, number three, we're opening up our creativity. And I still get people sometimes will say, you know, I heard what you said about being creative, you know, and I'm just really not creative. I'm not worried about it. It's not a problem. I'm just not creative. And this is politically incorrect, but I'm going to say it. Most of them work with numbers. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I knew that'd be dangerous to say in here, okay? And I also don't accept it. It's absolutely false. We're not, every one of us is creative and not just kinda. We're profoundly creative. Every one of us. We're just creative in different ways. And if you think you're in that category, I'm going to throw this challenge at you. Try that with anything that's a deal in your life. It's a problem, an opportunity, something challenge, something going on. Try that. Ask the question, well, what if I could do this? What if this was good? What would it be? What if I could do this? The minute you wrote that down, you just became creative, or you just demonstrated it. You were already creative. Welcome to the club. I'm going to do one more illustration of this. This is an area of comedy, an entire area of comedy that I don't know anybody who's doing right now, and that's hard to find. I'm sure there's somebody, but I haven't found it. Turns out it's as old as Mozart. I thought, what if you could make somebody laugh without saying a word? Could the notes of music be funny? And I don't mean mime, notes, just the sounds, could they be funny? And the answer is yes, they can. Mozart actually has a piece that's whatever German is for a musical joke. And you listen to it, and it's genuinely funny, and I wanted to know the mechanics behind that. And so I've written a number of pieces like this. I've got time for one. I had a request to do dueling banjos. I said, okay, what if? And sometimes when you ask the question, what if I could do that? What if we could do that? What would it look like? You're going to get this blinding flash of this obvious, amazing solution. And sometimes you're not. Okay? And then the question becomes actually more valid, because now it becomes a process of peeling back the onion, digging into the problem, fleshing it out. What if, okay? And they're open so I did that with this piece. What if I could play dueling banjos? Well, first of all, dueling banjos is not two banjos. It's actually a guitar and a banjo. The guitar plays a part, the banjo answers it. Well, there's my angle. So here's what we're going to do. It's a long process. I'll just cut to the chase. I'm going to play both the parts. I'm going to do the guitar like the same guitar player from the mountains of Georgia. But what if the banjo player is from Baghdad? Middle Eastern bluegrass, or blue sand. Think about that one, I'll wait, that's all right. With American bluegrass, bring them all together, it's like chicken fried baba ganoush. Goes like this. What if? My people. Okay, so we're asking, what if? What if we could do that? What would it look like? I know you can't. I know you can't. But what if we could? How would it happen? It's the first tool. Second tool. Write music that you can't play. Write music that you can't play. Or let's take it out of musical terms. Set goals that don't exist. Set goals that don't exist. And let me define that for you. And this will be a generic example, so don't worry about it. Just think 10%. If you sell 100 widgets in a year and next year you set a goal to sell 110 widgets, that's a good goal. But to me it exists. Because even if you can't do it yet, most of us can see how to get to a 5 or 10% increase in pretty much anything. Okay, you can squeeze it out if you have to. I mean, you may not be able to do it yet, but I can tell you, you can work harder, you can work longer, you could hire help, you could be more productive. There's usually ways that we can see to get to whatever that next step is. Okay, and most of our goals are that way, or whatever that next step as we move forward. And that's fine. But I'm about trying to affect exponential change. So, whatever time frame you set goals, try this. Go ahead and set the other goals, but set one goal for me. Try this. Where when you come up with the goal, don't start with what's possible. Start with what's cool. What's right? What's the dream case scenario? You hear people say, well, in a perfect world I would, and I say, yes, in a perfect world you would have what? And why is that not the goal? And they go, oh, well, because it's impossible, and they kill it before it comes out of their mouths. Drives me crazy. We sell ourselves short at the front end. Okay, so you'll come up with this goal, and here's how the test to know you have the kind of goal that I'm thinking of. It takes courage to think it. The kind of goal that completes this phrase. Okay, this is nuts, but I'm gonna, what? What is that thing? Once you come up with that goal, there are three things, and 3 subpoints. There's 3 things you gotta do with it. Number 1, you have to write it down. You can't just think about it. Because if you just think about it and then you don't do it, you let yourself off the hook. Well, I wasn't really gonna do it, I was just thinking about it. Right? That's the first manifestation. You see it there in concrete form. And this is, again, individually, small team, entire organization. Write it down. Number 1. Number 2, you got to commit to it. Hard. Got to get everyone, yourself or anyone else on board. Say, well, you know what? I have no idea how we're going to do this, but this is going to happen. And number 3, you got to take some kind of physical action toward it. Preferably the moment you write it down, but definitely within 24 hours. Start the ball rolling. Call somebody, look something up, sign up for a class, get the internet, whatever it is. Get something moving. If you will do this, here's what will happen. It's the coolest thing. The universe will come to your aid. I don't know how it works, and I don't care how it works. I don't know how electricity works, but I still flip the switch, okay? In fact, it's the exact same principle. The universe seems to like goals like this. This is just and this is studies. This is not woo-hoo strange stuff, okay? This is studies can prove this. All right? The universe seems to like goals like this. So just try this. You'll write it. You'll come up with this goal. It'll be nuts. You'll write it down. You'll commit to it. You'll take some action on it. And a week later, you'll meet somebody, and they start talking about it, and they have an expertise that applies to it. Maybe not in a way that you thought, but it gives you that next step toward the goal, and you start, wow, that's cool. Or you're spinning the dial on the television, just, surfing, and there's a documentary. Wow, you didn't think it would apply, but it actually opens up an idea of how to get to that next step toward the goal. Coincidences start to happen to move you toward the goal. And I don't think they're coincidences. I think they're brought about by that intention and by that, or prayer, or whatever. I mean, the universe seems to like goals like this. I personally call it God, but you can call it whatever you want to call it. Now, I titled the tool for myself, Write Music That You Can't Play, because that's how I kind of stumbled onto it. I studied classical guitar for most of my 9 years of undergraduate work. Yeah, associate's degree. And in fact, I'm the only student in history with tenure. But I would get these grandiose ideas. I'd hear a 60-piece orchestra, and I'm going to do it on a guitar, and I'd start writing, Or I heard piano players do 2 different parts at the same time. When I got my head around that, I thought, oh, no, guitar, you're strumming what you're fretting. It's the same thing. And so what if we could do that on a guitar? So I'd start writing for this, and come up. And I'd be so proud of these pieces. So I'd take them to my guitar player friends because they could get it. And so I'd be like, dude, that's guitar player talk. Dude, check this out. And they'd be like, dude, could you play that? And I'd be like, dude, no, okay? Because I couldn't, right? And I had no way of seeing it in context at the time, but I had set a goal. I had written it down. It was in music, not English, but that counts. Lord knows I'm committed to it. It's what I've been doing all my life. So I'm on the page. I'm like, I'm going to do this. And just to give you one example of many, we used to go to the music stores on weekends, and we'd go look at all the cool new guitars, and then we'd go buy picks. Yes, because we were broke. And so one weekend, we were Venom and Music in Rockville, Maryland. And I still picture where it was by the window, the guy with the amp and the guitar. There's a guy playing, and he had this style I'd never heard or seen. It was visual. And I just watched. I just listened. I was, wow. Okay, I got the idea. And so I went home, and I got my guitar, and I picked it up, and I started working on that style. And after I kind of got a little bit of a command of it, I pulled out this piece of music that I couldn't play. I'd written, but I couldn't play. I had to adjust the style a little bit to fit the piece, but that's cool. It makes it kind of my own, right? I had to adjust the piece a little bit, but it's mine. I can do what I want with it. A few days later, I'm able to play this piece that I thought was impossible just because of this chance meeting. Metaphorically, it'll happen the same way for you. It's not that it's giving up work. You got to work on it. But things start to happen when you say, this is where we're going. And I don't know how, but we're going to do it. Okay? And this is a trite example, but it's the best one I've ever heard. John F. Kennedy said, we're going to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade. And when he said it, the technology did not exist. It existed. They said this in Apollo 13. It existed because we just decided we're going to do it, right? So, at this point, okay, I ended up with a bunch of these pieces of music that I wrote and composed and arranged, classical pieces and things. And I ended up recording them on a CD, on 2 CDs, one called Romantical, which is more mellow, and one of them called Fidgety Digits. And at this point in the program, I usually play one from each. But I'm not going to do that because I practice absolutely, I'm excited about this. I practice everything that I talk about here. And I set a goal that just came true. And I set the goal in the late 70s. I heard a piece of music that I thought, someday I'm going to play that on guitar. And the only thing I did toward the goal really for the next 20 or whatever years, was I learned to play the guitar. About 10 years ago, I got serious about the piece. And I started digging into it. 3 years ago, I got really serious. And it became my obsession. And I worked on arrangements and everything. And keep in mind, I've studied great composers. I've studied Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, Wagner, the great Spanish composers. This is a piece by one of the great British composers, a fellow by the name of Freddie Mercury, which for those of you who don't know is the group Queen, okay? The piece is called Bohemian Rhapsody. Okay, you know this, okay, yeah. love this piece, but think about what it is. If you listen to the piece, it's an opera of voices, it's a full rock band, and it's this flowing piano part that goes alternately from classical to pop and back and forth. And the challenge is to pull them all into one instrument. And that's been my obsession. And it just, I've practiced it almost 2,000 hours now. If you add it, I don't even know. I've played it over 600 times, but only a handful on stage. This is my arrangement of Bohemian Rhapsody, completion of a long time goal. Got it. Thank you. All right, my people. Thank you. What if? Cool. Thank you. I'm honored. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, Guitar Hero. That's funny. That's funny too. Okay, so we're asking what if? What if we could do that? What would it look like? I know we can't, but what if we could? We're writing music that you can't play, setting goals that don't exist. Richard Bach once wrote, here's a test to see if your purpose in life is over. If you're alive, it isn't. Okay? That means there's most definitely a profound and a divine and a wonderful reason that we're all here, that we're all literally in these seats with whatever's going on in our lives. And we can talk about motivation. People call me a motivational speaker. So let's talk about that. How do we motivate ourselves and how do we motivate the people around us? Almost always. It's so funny. Back up here. We come to conferences. We come to these things and we hear different people talk about different ways to get motivated and different things to move us forward, right? Okay, and we learn them all and we write them down and then we go home and we go right back to the same way we've done it for thousands of years and it was never mentioned on this stage. They work in tandem, reward and punishment. That's how we do it. Reward and punishment. Reward, you get money. Punishment, you get fired, okay? Grades are reward and punishment. Okay, and this is effective to a large degree. But please, as a perspective check, keep in mind, this is the exact same way that we train mice. How does that make you feel? What sets us apart as human beings is our ability to respond to the most powerful motivational force on this planet. And it is not power, money, or fame. It's a sense of purpose. Why we do what we do means absolutely everything to us as human beings in the long run. The meaning behind something, the reason that we attach to it. Honestly, you give us a good enough reason, we'll do anything. So, right away, you want to get more out of the people you work with, more of the people around you, your colleagues, your friends. Remember why you do what you do. Remind them of why they do what they do. It's easy, I know, especially with technology, to get caught up in the data, and especially with budgets, the things that you guys are dealing with, and the things that might pass or not, and all that kind of stuff, to get caught up in that and forget, wow, we are serving people. You're making it possible for people, for children, for students, and older students, to enter the world knowing what they're doing, making their lives better. I mean, that's a huge deal, but you don't have to look there for your purpose. We each have a purpose. In so many ways, we have a purpose in every relationship we're in. There's a purpose in that. The friendships, being a spouse, significant other. We have a purpose as a parent that we really need to embrace, I think, a lot of us. We have a purpose as a parent. We have a purpose in our communities. We have a purpose as a citizen of this country. We have a purpose in our place of worship. So, with that much purpose in the way that we spend our time, think right now, just for a second, about the way you spend your time. Just say over the last month, how you spend that time. And just answer this question to yourself. Are you driving with the brakes on? Are you driving with the brakes on? Because we are. We all are in some way or another. I know I am guilty of it. I think that's why God makes me teach this, to remind myself every day. Because I'm like, yeah, well, kinda. I'm going to do it. Maybe tomorrow, right? Okay? And it's a push-pull thing with the brakes. There's all kinds of reasons for that. We could dig into that. That's a whole breakout session. But but the things that breaks that hold us back, right? And how to deal with that. But they cause us to move sideways, and I don't want that for you. So the third tool, the quick way to do this, the third tool is the way to take the brakes off. And it is simply this. Become a virtuoso. That's the third tool. Become a virtuoso. I should say that in Italian with my right arm in the air. Virtuoso. Let's take it out of Italian, out of musical terms. It simply means this. Resolve to be the best. Make the choice right now to become the best. It's an interesting point. Most people never make this decision. Most people go through their jobs and their lives never choosing to become the best that they can at it. The default of this decision is not goodness or greatness. It's barely mediocrity and quite often failure. in the late 90s, I had been playing at colleges. That was kind of after playing in bars. That was 16 years. I played 1,800 college shows all over North America. And just in that niche market, not anywhere else, but just in that niche market, I was doing real well. I was kind of at the top of it. I was winning some awards. I was touring a lot. And I have a mentor who saw right through it. And it changed my life, but I have to tell you the way it worked, because he heard how things were going, and he was always helping me. And he said, "That's great, man. Have you resolved to be the best?" And I was kind of like, "Dude, I'm doing pretty well here." Guitar player talking. "Dude, I'm doing pretty well here." He said, "Dude, that's not what I asked you. Have you resolved to be the best?" And I started thinking about it, and of course the answer knocked me over. No, I had not. Here I am doing what I feel like I've been put on the planet to do. And because we've all dealt with this before, where, in fact, you couldn't be in this room if you haven't dealt with this at some point or another, where good becomes the enemy of great, right? Because it's working, we start to coast. And a word about coasting. Coasting is fine for a while, but it only happens downhill. So here's what he said to do. He said, "I want you to take out a sheet of paper and write this question at the top of it and then answer it." And of course, this point, I'm all ears. And he said, the question is simple. He said, "What would it take for me to become the best?" It's easy enough. What would it take for me to become the best? And then fill in the blank at the end. What would it take for me to become the best guitarist and presenter, entertainer, comedian? What would it take for me to become the best at that? What would you have to do? He said, "Now just go answer the question." And I said, "Dude, I'm so going to do this." He said, "Yeah, dude, sit down right now." I'm like, we're going to be here for days. And so to give you an idea of the things I wrote down, I'd been playing guitar at that point for 20-something years. The first thing I wrote on the list was take lessons. Who knew? I mean, I'm self-taught, except for classical in college, I'm self-taught. So the idea was, quit trying to reinvent the wheel, get people who know what they're doing to sharpen the learning curve, right? And so I did. And the point is, when you make this decision, you start right where you are at this conference. And I'll tell you this, the greatest resource you have for becoming the best is sitting in this room, your colleagues, your friends. That is an unbelievable source of knowledge and skill and ability. We know the people who do really well at what we do. Why don't we study with them? Why don't we learn from them? Why don't we ask them questions? It's the coolest thing in the world. I started there's a guy in my church who played jazz fusion guitar, and I didn't know how. I said, "Man, I'm going to study with you. I've got to start somewhere." But you also take it as far as you can take it. I mean, this is a lifetime commitment to become the best. I went to Spain, and I sat in a monastery in Spain for a week, rural Spain, with a guy named Robert Fripp from the band King Crimson. And if 3 of you know who that is, I'll be happy. All right, cool. Yeah. He's on Rolling Stone magazine's list of the top 100 guitarists of all time. If you will do this, again, I'll guarantee you 3 things about it. Number 1, the exercise won't take more than 10 minutes. So you should do it today. Do lunch before the next session. What would it take for me to become the best? And then answer, for whatever it is that you want to become the best at. It'll only take 10 minutes because, number 2, you already know the answers. We know what we need to do for the most part. We just don't do it. And number 3, it'll change your life. Not because you're going to be working 24 hours a day and not have a personal life. I don't think that that's the best at all. It's simply saying, you know what? Doggone it, my time is worth it. If it's worth my doing, it's worth my doing right and going at it all the way. In fact, I apply this to everything. Again, I turn the things I teach back on myself, and I thought, what would it take for me to become the best parent? What would I do differently? Whoa, there's an answer. And I started reading about parenting and discipline and how to, those kind of things. What would it take for me to become the best husband? Wow, what would I do differently? Wow, there's a list. And most of it was made by my wife. So I want you to ask what if. I want you to take that with you. I love that to be a part of meetings, push it on your own. Just, what if I could do that? What would it look like? I know I can't, but what if I could? How would we do this? I want you to write music that you can't play. Set goals that don't exist. And more than anything, I would love it if we all just made that choice right now to become a virtuoso. Draw from that sense of purpose in what you do. Become the best at it. Your personal best, not compared to anyone else, just your best. I told you I was going to try to prove this. This is a crazy request I got. I was playing at a ski lodge in Virginia, which is like a ski lodge in Tampa, okay? And a lady asked me to play The Devil Went Down to Georgia. Story of a fiddle battle. And I said, nah. I said, lady, fiddle. She was unimpressed. So what if? I went for it. Who knew? I tried it, and both the people that night enjoyed it. Mom and Dad. So this is a guitar version of The Devil Went Down to Georgia, and I'm going off into some fun, strange, unusual places with it, as if you didn't know that already. And since this is the last piece, I'm going to do a couple of quick points. First of all, if you have any questions for me, during lunch, I'm going to be out here in the lobby. There's a little meet and greet table right outside there. So please come by. My favorite thing is doing this program. My second favorite thing is getting to meet people and say hi and see what questions you have about what I've played or talked about. If you would like the notes from this program, meaning the quotes and the different tools, just kind of quickly outlined on a page, I'll give them to you for free. Just drop your card off or sign up on my little email list, and I'll send them to you. There'll be a Word document. They'll come to you. I just want you to have that. If the number one question I get has to do with CDs and things, and so I put together this package thing that I only do here, where I've got 3 CDs. I've got a Live at Carnegie Hall CD, which is what they play on XM Serious Comedy, Laugh USA. They play it a lot, the clean channels, and it's on YouTube and things like that. It's Live at Carnegie Hall. I'm just doing what I do, guitar and comedy. It's fun. I've got the 2 instrumental CDs. It's got a DVD which has this keynote presentation, has 2 shows on it. This keynote presentation with this message, as well as it has my all entertainment show. And then I finally wrote a book called What If? Dare to do more, be more, and reach farther than you ever thought possible. And you might notice that some of the things I talk about here sort of echo a little bit of what you might read in The Secret or some of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. Jack Canfield, who developed those wrote the foreword for this book. He's a friend of mine. He's been a real supporter. And so those are all, if you bought them online, they'd be like $110. I think they're less than half that out here. So if you would like that, it's something we only do here, and please come by. Last but not least, I didn't know what to expect. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Thank you. I could not ask for a better morning. I appreciate you having me here. This is real cool. Goes like this. Because he was way behind, he was willing to make a deal. When he came across this young man sawing on a fiddle and playing it hot, the devil jumped up on a hickory stump and said, boy, let me tell you what, I guess you didn't know it, but I'm a fiddle player too. And if you care to take a dare, I'll make a bet with you. Now you play pretty good fiddle, boy, but give the devil his due. I bet a fiddle of gold against your soul, 'cause think I'm better than you. The boy said, my name's Johnny, it might be a sin, but I'll take your bet, you're gonna regret, I'm the best it's ever been. Johnny, you rising up in your bow and play a fiddle hard. Scales go loose in Georgia and the devil deals the cards. If you win, you get the shiny fiddle made of gold. If you lose, the devil gets your soul. The devil opened up his case and he said, I'll start the show, and fire flew from his fingertips as he rosined up his bow. He pulled the bow across the strings and it made a evil hiss. Van Demons joined in and it sounded something like this. When the devil finished, Johnny said, you're pretty good, old son. Let's sit down in that chair right there and let me show you how it's done. Fire in the mouth, run, boys, run. Doesn't your house arise the sun? Shoot the brick pan, picking out dough. Raise it all by no child knows. devil bowed his head because, no, wait a second. I've been putting songs where they don't belong all morning. We should put a few that don't belong here, right? Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. There is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun. It's been the ruin of many poor boy, and God, I know I'm one. There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from a tropic port aboard this tiny ship. The mate was a mighty sailing man, the skipper brave and sure. 5 passengers set sail that day for a 3-hour tour. Well, a hip hop, hip it to the hip hop, you don't stop. A rocket to the bang bang, the boogie say up jump, the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now lose yourself in the music, the moment you own it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot, do not miss your chance, don't blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime, you better lose yourself. When you can take a personality disorder and turn it into a career, you got something. Well, the devil bowed his head because he knew that he'd been beat. He laid that golden fiddle on the ground at Johnny's feet. Johnny said, "Devil, just come on back if you ever want to try again. Because I done told you once, you son of a gun, I'm the best it's ever been." And he played, "Fire in the mountain, boys running. Death in the house and their eyes of sun. Shooting the red pan, but you're not told. Crazy dog by no child knows." Thank you, man. You guys are awesome. My people.